Hey everybody, welcome back to week 14 of Keeping Mentally Healthy. I do not know where the time has gone, but hey, here we are. And in week 14, we are going to be talking about building positivity. Now, this is not going to be nothing new. And what I've found over the last few weeks is that there are certain things that just keep coming up time and again. Certain little strands, and I'm going to pick up a bit of this and a bit of that, and then bring it all together. And what I'm going to give to you really is some building blocks to help you build a positive life. Now, this is not going to be short-term thing. It's not going to be the sort of thing where, like a lot of the weeks, which is just been designed to help you cope in the moment, you know, when you have going through a difficult time or having a difficult day. So I've given you some tools to help you cope in those tough times. This is something that is going to stand you in good stead for the future and give you those building blocks to help you build your resilience, help you cope better in the future. And underlying all of this is the positive influence. This is why building positivity is really important. Okay, so now why is it important? Let's see. So when you feel that you are supported and you are surrounded by lots of positive people, so people that they've got your back, you know, you can talk to them when things go a bit wrong, or they're just really encouraging and they're kind and they're helpful, and when you're surrounded by people like that, and when you're surrounded by a whole class and community, a school and your wider community, when you're surrounded by people like that, it's almost unspoken. It's not something you might really think about or really know, but unconsciously you'll realise that you're supported really well, and when things go wrong, there are people you can turn to, and knowing that makes you feel part of that community, and having those strong connections and relationships helps you go forward in life, and it helps you live your life to the full. It helps you realise that it's okay to make mistakes because you can learn from them and you can try again. So building that positivity is so important. The other reason it's important is that as human beings, we are all too eager to believe and focus on the negative things. So if you have a day where you might have had 3 positive comments in a day, someone has told you how nice you look, or you've done really well at a piece of work, or whatever it is, but then actually someone said a negative thing about you, what's the thing you're going to focus on? You're going to focus on the negative thing, aren't you? Because that's just the way humans are made. And I saw some research once years and years ago, and I just thought that is just so true, that for every one negative thing, you almost need 10 positive things. It's not just a 1 for 1. For every one negative thing, you need 1 positive thing to kind of balance it out. No. You will focus more on the negative thing. So actually you need about 10 positive things. So we almost just need to flood the world with positivity, don't we? Because there's a lot of negative stuff out there, isn't there? Particularly at the moment, there's people we can't see, and places we can't go to, and things we can't do. So actually we need to have a lot of positive things out there. So this is just incredibly important stuff. But you know what? None of it's rocket science. Right, okay, shall we talk a little bit about how we can do it, how we can start with these building blocks and build this positive world around us? It starts with ourselves. So the best way to start building that positive world around us is to be that positive person. So there's lots of different ways we can do that. Number 1, we start with positive self-talk. Do you remember this? We talked about this fairly recently, didn't we? It's important to have that positive self-talk. So whenever you start saying, oh, I'm a bit rubbish, I can't do that, oh, I'm not very good at this, challenge yourself. Really? Are you really not good at that? But do you not remember the time when you did this really well? Whatever it is. Okay, so challenge yourself with those, when you do that negative self-talk. We all do it, don't we? When we've had a bad day, we all do that negative self-talk. Challenge yourself. Okay, so now the other thing is to challenge that negative self-talk in other people as well. So when your friends or people around you will go, oh no, I can't do that, I'm rubbish. Challenge them, go, oh well, really? But hang on, you're great at this or you're great at that. You know, just really encourage them and challenge them not to talk negatively about themselves. Okay, now it's really important to say positive things as well, and be positive in what you do and what you say. And particularly if you have phones, you're a little bit older in the school and you've got your own phone and you start going on social media as you get older, or you message your friends, things like that, it is incredibly important to say positive things and hold back on the negative things. In fact, I've got a really helpful thing which I'll share with you, and I might have said this to some of you before, but I'm going to say it again because I find it just really helpful. And in fact, I found myself saying it to my 15-year-old the other day. So, and it's this: when you're about to say something or do something, or type a message, anything like that, say this to yourself. You might just have that little warning sign that is warning you, do I really want to say that? Say this to yourself. Is it kind? Is it true? Is it helpful? And it's so important to hold yourself back on that. And it's really tempting, isn't it, when people are being mean to you, to just immediately just bite back and to just say that negative thing, but you get yourself into this whole cycle of a horrible negative language. Don't be tempted to be negative back. If someone comes up with a negative comment to you in the playground or on a messenger or anything like that, step back. Just give yourself pause. Think, is it kind? Is it true? Is it helpful? If it fails one of these, I probably wouldn't say it. Think again. Okay, and just giving yourself that bit of a pause might just stop you saying something really negative and not helping the situation. In fact, it might be, if you say something positive at that point, might completely diffuse the whole thing and you turn the situation around. So think about that carefully. Okay, let's have a look. So talk about positive self-talk, being positive to others. Right, okay, so the other thing is about being kind. And this is something that is just so underestimated. It really is. Being kind is just so easy and so simple. But often it's viewed as being weak. Or, sometimes we get that, oh, you're being too nice, whatever. No, not really. Being kind is often a choice. Sometimes it can be a very powerful choice as well, because someone's been really mean to you. What are you tempted to do? But being kind back can often just change the whole way people think about things. And that person would have been expecting you to bite back and be horrible and mean. If you come back and be kind, that will probably just take them aback a bit. They'll be really surprised and maybe just change the situation a bit. Be kind to people. You never know what other people are going through. We've talked about the behaviour iceberg before, haven't we? You never know what is underneath that behaviour. They might be being mean and a bit awful to you because there's a lot of stuff going on underneath. There's a lot of emotion going on underneath. Always be kind. You don't know what other people have got going on. Okay, lovely. And then lastly, this is all about being an encourager. And yes, again, it's like being kind, but it's catching people doing it right as well. Because as humans, again, we all focus in on the negative stuff, don't we? It's all too easy to complain when stuff goes wrong, but actually catch people doing it right. And I think that is just one of the best things ever, because that can just make so much difference. So, when you're out with your folks and they've had really good service, in a restaurant, the days when we could all go to restaurants a lot, or you go to the supermarket and someone's just been really helpful to you. Say thank you. I really found that helpful. Thank you so much. And you don't know what influence that can have and what difference that has made to their day. They might have been having a really rough day and you've just gone and made their day. So it's so important, catch people doing it right. And I knew a person once who was always doing that. They were really good at doing that. They would often send emails going, thanks for doing that. And it wasn't anything big and exciting, it was just, day-to-day stuff. They said, thanks for doing that. That was brilliant. I really appreciate that. And do you know what happens? Is that I found myself doing exactly the same thing. Sending those little emails out, catching people doing it right. Going, thanks for what you did there. I really found that helpful. Thank you. And often before you wouldn't necessarily thought of saying that, but it's important to say it. Catch people doing it right. And you see, it's almost like a wave, isn't it? So you're being that positive influence and you find that the next people along from you are being that positive influence and then they will be that positive influence and so it goes on. So the best way to build that positivity is to start being that positive influence. Okay, now our activity today is we're going to start doing that exact thing. So what we're going to do is you're going to have little slips of paper, or you might have, I don't know, decorations. You could make it into whatever you want, but you're going to start by writing the name of somebody and writing a positive thing about them. These might be people in your class on your table, it might be your teachers, it might be the other staff that work in the school, it can be anybody. Build that positivity. So say something great about them, something encouraging, something positive, something kind. And, the more you can pinpoint an exact thing, the better. So rather than saying you're helpful, it might be, I really appreciated it when you helped me with that thing. Now, if you need a bit of hand with writing, that's okay. Maybe you can draw a nice picture for them, something like that. Or maybe you can, your teachers or your TAs can tell you what you need to write. Okay, so after that, you can make that into whatever you want. Do you know what I like? I've got a great idea that someone showed me once, is that whenever anything positive happens, I've got this jar of positivity. So what you can do is whenever you get a compliment or you do well or you do something that you're particularly proud of, pop it in, write on a little bit of paper, pop it in a jar. And then if you're having a really bad day anytime, you can just take them out and read it to yourself and actually go, oh, do you know what? Actually, I'm doing okay. Yeah, I've had a rough day today, but I'm doing okay. So you can build on that idea if you want to, maybe at another time, but start with building that little bit of positivity today. Okay, so I'm going to wish you all a very, very positive few weeks. Is it going to be the holidays coming up now for you? I'm not sure. Okay, take care and I'll see you really soon.